The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
Welcome to the Limits Talk Radio Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Leonard Cardinelli. As you can notice, Brian Shapiro's not here today. We gave him the day off. He's been working very hard. He's been all over the place. He's been debating. He's been going to other states. He has a lot of friends, a lot of new friends. So he's really been very busy. And he's going to take a little short break. So you're here with me today. It's been a real busy day. There's a lot of news out there. There's a lot going on. We're going to go over some stuff in Trump and the economy. We're going to go over a little bit about Nick Shirley. We're going to get into some videos about Mike Johnson that are just unbelievable, to be honest. And then we're going to eventually take a break. And on the other side of the break, we're going to take your calls. So this should be about, I'm shooting for about 1 o'clock or so. For people calling in, but let's start off with Trump and the economy. And as you know, I just want to play some clips and kind of show how Trump over and over is saying the economy is great and how good it is. When we all know, I went shopping over the weekend. I got a handful of groceries, $170 for 2 bags of groceries, and I'm not talking expensive stuff. I'm some chicken breast. Some shaving cream, bread, things like that, lettuce. And we all know that the days of cheap groceries for now are over with. So we're going to play some clips, and I think we're going to play 3 clips in a row because they're kind of short. So let's see what Trump has to say about it before he was elected.
Starting on day one of my new administration, we will end inflation and we will make America affordable again because the prices are too high. The prices are too high. We will end inflation and make America affordable again. We're going to get the prices down. We have to get them down. It's too much. Groceries, cars, everything. We're going to get the prices down. But prices will come down. You just watch. They'll come down, and they'll come down fast, not only with insurance, with everything. So tomorrow, I will end inflation. We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices. I will end inflation. End inflation. Slash your prices. To rapidly reduce inflation, I will end inflation very quickly. End inflation. Slash your prices. We will cut your taxes. End inflation. Slash your prices. We're going to get your prices down. And we're bringing. So when I win, I will immediately bring prices down. Starting on day one, we will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill.
Okay, so there's President Trump, who was candidate Trump at the time, trying to be elected to president for the second time. That is Trump talking about how he's going to fix the economy on day one. Prices will come down on day one. And he said it over and over and over, and prices are up. Actually, prices are way up. Some things like beef and some other items are double. And so when you cherry pick and you say, well, I brought the price of eggs down and the eggs are 35 cents less than they were last week, well, that's fine. But that is not bringing down prices. That is not making America affordable. And then he goes into how the affordability is a Democratic hoax. He started with the word before he was even elected, talking about affordability. It was his word that he really introduced heavily into politics. And here's another clip of him saying more of the same, but also adding how Democrats are ruining the economy with regulations. And he doesn't even he doesn't even connect the dots on what he's talking about. Let's play the clip.
And I'm announcing today a new step that I'll take to get emergency price relief to all Americans. On day one, I will sign an executive order directing every federal agency to immediately remove every single burdensome regulation driving up the cost of goods. They drive up the cost of goods. We have so many regulations that hurt our country. I cut more regulations times 4 than any president in the history of our country. And that's why we had the greatest economy in history. That's one of the reasons why. The other is I gave you the largest tax cut in the history of our country, including Ronald Reagan. Furthermore, I will create a new cabinet position for a senior member of my administration who will be tasked exclusively with doing everything in the federal government's power to reduce the cost of living. We have to. You not be able to live. And a lot of it is just the regulations and the rules and regulations, which are just a waste of time and money. And everybody, we need regulation, but I have seen regulations where they have 30 regulations for one subject, and the one subject doesn't even matter. All agencies will be judged daily on their progress in slashing the cost of household items. We're going to slash the cost, and this will be the largest and fastest, most aggressive regulatory reduction. It's going to be the largest regulatory reduction in the history of our country, and it's going to happen very fast. Using just very conservative estimates, we will save the typical household $7,000 in the first year alone.
Okay, so I would consider myself a typical household. Many of you listening might consider your household the typical household. I'm not saving $7,000 a year. All prices are up. Inflation is still rising. It's at 4.7% as of yesterday when I checked. But keep in mind, Trump's not allowing the Department of Labor to report the exact statistics anymore. So we're not really sure how bad unemployment is. We're not really sure how many jobs are available to people out there because they won't let the accurate statistics come out. And I believe that inflation's a lot higher than 4.7%. And we don't really know because they're regulating. He doesn't like regulation, but he's regulating the statistics that are put out to the American public so they can understand what's going on. And so I really wanted to point that out in the clip. But also I have some images that I want you to look at. And in the first image, it's talking about electricity prices are climbing, and they're increasing more than twice as fast as inflation. This is reported by NPR. So that is really, the reason I have the clip is it's really a good example of what's really going on. And so, you talk about inflation, and we know that things are inflationary right now. And by the way, what drove up inflation? Tariffs. Everyone says tariffs because the tariffs were charged to other countries, according to Trump. But the people who really pay it are the American businesses, the small businesses, the large businesses. And when that cost increases, they pass it on to you, the consumer. So how is that America first? How is that good for America? But let me get back to what I was saying. So electricity prices are climbing more than twice as fast as inflation. So that means we're paying more and more and more for electricity every month, every year. I'm sure all of you get electric bills. I'm sure all of you understand how hard it is to keep up with that. You have a very hot, I live in Vegas, and we have a very, very hot summer. And that cool air is on almost all the time. We don't really have a choice. The winter's a little better because we don't have to use heat as much, or maybe at all, but some of you live in very cold places and you have to use the heat constantly. So we know that the costs are going up. And so the inflation is an indicator, but it's not the real story. Things like electricity doubling, that is a real cost. That is something that all of us are feeling. And in the second clip, it's going to be basically showing inflation rising for 6 months in a row as Trump declares, quote, inflation, ? I've already taken care of it. And that's not true. So when you look at the graph, you see that the inflation is going through the roof. And even though he says, I've taken care of it, I stopped it, he's blaming Joe Biden, he's still blaming Joe Biden. He even said in an interview that all the good parts of the economy are due to him, and all the bad parts are due to Joe Biden. And so we know that's not reality. So in the next screenshot, can you bring that up so I can see it? I need to see it. Okay. This shows how tariffs are raising prices for America. And you can see in the beginning, when Trump started in January, we're going back to 2024, you could see how the prices were going down for Americans. And then all of a sudden, in January 2025, what does it do? It starts to go up, and it's still going up, and it's rising. So when they lie and they say that this isn't true and they say that this isn't what's really happening, then we know that that's not the truth, because we have a graph right here. This is the proof. So when people in the MAGA universe and people say, oh, no, it's not that bad and it's Joe Biden's fault and all the inflation was Joe Biden, that's not really accurate. What's really accurate is that Trump has caused tremendous inflation with tariffs and taxes and all of the things that he's doing. Moving on. This next clip, I'm going to have to read a little bit, so you have to be patient, because it's Speaker of the House Mike Johnson talking about how he doesn't know or he doesn't remember or haven't heard. And these are the subjects that he's talking about. He's talking about the meme coins in May, the Qatar jet gift in May, crypto donor dinner in May, Epstein files in June, Argentina beef imports in October. And this is Speaker of the House, who's informed by staff at all moments of the day and night and knows everything that's going on. And these are some of the most important issues. And he's saying that he doesn't really know. So let me continue. He talks about ICE detaining U.S. citizens and children in October, Trump's purge of senior ICE staff in October, pardon January 6er threatening to kill Minority Leader Representative Hakeem Jeffries in October, priest that was pepper sprayed in ICE in October, special education layoffs in October, Trump's $230 million DOJ payoff in October, pardon crypto billionaire in October, double tap boat strike in December, and pardoning of drug trafficker in December. Let's listen to Mike Johnson, what he has to say about those important issues.
I don't know anything about the meme coin thing. I don't know. I can just tell you that, President Trump has had nothing to hide. He's very upfront about it. I've been a little busy on reconciliations. I'm not following all the twists and turns of the Qatar jet. I've certainly heard about it. Well, look, I don't know anything about the dinner. I was a little busy this past week, as you know, getting the reconciliation package over the line. And so I'm not going to comment on something I haven't even heard about. I'm not sure who was there or what the purpose was. But as Cash said in the vignette earlier, he's FBI. That's not my lane. I don't know. Well, we're doing a lot of work. We had some discussion on that yesterday, and I don't know the latest developments, but I can tell you there have been some over the last 24 hours here. But there is new legal analysis. I don't know the details. I just saw a headline this morning. I'm not read in on it, and I haven't spoken to the White House about it. I don't know who any of these people are. I never heard of them. Somebody posted a photo of me standing next to these guys. We were in tuxedos. Obviously, I think it was at the inauguration, and people were just coming up and asking for selfies with 1,000 of them. I don't know. I've never heard of that person in my life. I don't know what you're talking about with the children. Okay, I haven't seen that, so I'm not going to comment on it. But I will tell you that ICE is doing the job that the American people demanded that they do. I don't know any of the details of that yet. I just heard about that literally. I was walking in, so I'm not going to comment on it until I find out the details. I know some of these things get misportrayed. Terrible. That's the first I've heard of that. I don't know anything about it. But anybody who threatens to kill any political official, we denounce it absolutely. I can't comment on any of those instances. I haven't seen or heard any of those videos, so I'm not going to comment about it. But I would say, hold on, wait a minute. Let me answer you. Hold on. Thank you. You asked the question. I haven't seen the specifics of that, and I don't know. I do know that each of the cabinet secretaries were asked to assist OMB. I'm not trying to dodge the question. I haven't had time to get the details, okay? That's still on my to-do list. Yesterday was almost literally a 21-hour workday. I don't know anything about that. I didn't see the interview. You have to ask the president about that. I'm not sure. I have been listening. Again, I was pretty busy yesterday. Didn't follow a lot of the news, but I caught up a little bit early this morning. I don't know anything about that, President. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on it. I haven't read it.
So that was Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, who runs the House of Representatives, basically, and saying that he doesn't know and he hasn't heard, and I'm not sure, and we're looking into that on major issues that affect Americans like me and you every day. And Mike Johnson just sitting there saying, I don't know. And so obviously he's not the kind of person that's going to be forthcoming with information. And he's constantly, in my opinion, trying to protect Trump, trying to avoid making him look bad. And I think that it's embarrassing because you have to remember the rest of the world watches these clips just like you and I do, and they must be thinking he's the Speaker of the House, he's the leader of the House of Representatives, and he's just said on a number of issues that I don't know and I'm not sure, and I've been busy. You know, oh, it's on my calendar to pay my mortgage. I know it's 3 months late. Who talks like that? It's just talking in circles and big word salad sandwich. And I thought it was very embarrassing for America, for the leader of the House of Representatives to be saying, "I'm not sure and I don't know and they haven't told me yet." So this next video is going to be pretty interesting. I found it on X under MAGA Cult Slayer. And they're performing a satirical post interview of Point Counterpoint regarding Nick Shirley. And they added, within this satirical performance, that 92 people have been arrested in conjunction with the fraud in Minnesota. This is in the past. They've been investigating and prosecuting since 2014. Now, if you remember, Nick Shirley tried to say they're not doing anything, and it's a big cover-up, and nobody's doing anything. And it's just the MAGA echo chamber that, and I agree with Brian. I think Nick Shirley is a MAGA grifter, and the reason I say that is no credibility behind what he said. When it was fact-checked, he looked like a fool. He looked like he did not know what he was talking about, but it did go viral. And so is he a news reporter? Not in my book, because he doesn't have actual facts that he's presenting to people. So let's listen to the clip, and keep in mind, this is one gentleman playing both parts, and it's kind of satirical, humorous video.
Is this a daycare or not?
This is my office where I make news videos.
Did you see the report from Nick Shirley about the Somali daycares in Minnesota?
Yes, he posted a 42-minute video, which I watched so that you don't have to.
He's the only person out here doing real journalism.
Hello, Mr. Vice President. Yes, I saw that you posted that. Great work, sir. So, yes, since 2018, more than half of $18 billion in taxpayer funds spent on the 14 programs intended to help low-income, vulnerable people was most likely stolen.
And there it is.
But this has been under investigation for a long time. More than 92 people have been charged.
Well, how come we haven't seen it in the news?
Local and international outlets have been reporting on it for years. This is a Times article from 2022.
But Representative Omar did nothing about this.
That same year, she condemned the fraud that was happening. And in 2019, this article was written about the statewide audit of the fraud. Finally, here's a local article from 2018 that says that Minnesota has been aggressively investigating daycare fraud since 2014.
But what about how they're funneling all the money to terrorists?
Look, there is clearly fraud happening here, but that terrorist allegation was made by a police detective from Seattle who retired in 2015 and has never been to Minnesota.
Well, what about the other daycares in the video? I didn't see any kids.
Some of those daycares could have been committing fraud, but would you let a complete stranger flanked by his security team and his camera crew into your daycare to see the children? And I don't know when he filmed this, but my daughter's daycare is closed for the last 2 weeks of December. I'm glad you care about kids, though.
Of course.
Have you seen the latest Epstein file dump from 3 days before Christmas?
No, I don't think so.
It's not important.
In new documents, an unnamed victim alleges that both Trump and Epstein raped her, and that Trump traveled on Epstein's plane at least 8 times in the 90s. But last year, he said he was never on Epstein's plane.
You should go check for more daycare fraud.
Okay.
Is this a daycare?
So there you go. And, obviously, that gentleman said it a lot better than I could, and Brian Shapiro said it even better than that gentleman did. And it's pretty obvious that it was just a sham. It was a snake oil salesman saying, there's plenty to see here in the kids, and he's saying, government money is being wasted and there's fraud. And keep in mind, no one's been arrested. No one's been charged. And I checked the news, and maybe one of you knows better than I do, but I haven't seen anybody dismissed, anybody fired. I haven't seen anything in the news saying that they enforced these fraud allegations. And so why is that? Why is no one getting charged? Why is there no one being arrested if there's fraud charges? Because if you're talking about fraud charges in the millions, those are felonies. Those are all felonies, as we know, from our 34-count convicted felon Trump. So the next clip is, so there's a network. It's up and coming, and it's One American News. You guys probably know it as OAN. And the guest host was David Polak, who's been on this show, and I don't think he's a favorite of people on this show. I think he's a liar, and He's the host and he's interviewing the host of Pushing the Limits, Brian Shapiro, our very own Brian Shapiro. And they're discussing independent journalist Nick Shirley and the alleged fraud uncovered in Minnesota.
Now, you don't agree with Nick Shirley's reporting. I saw your show yesterday. You covered it extensively. You've covered it on social media. Explain to me why you have such a problem with what Nick Shirley exposed.
Well, first of all, I disagree with your characterization that Nick Shirley is a journalist. I don't think he is. I think he's a right-wing grifter. Example, he goes over to Ukraine and he makes satire videos diminishing the damage and all the innocent lives that were lost. He self-admitted it was satire, and he refused to take any of his posts down. He's not a journalist. He makes money off of clicks on YouTube. So what did he actually uncover? Well, we've learned that the first daycare center that he went to was closed. It had been closed for a week, the infamous now ABC Learning Center. It's been closed for a week. He also shows up before 2 p.m. The normal business hours there are 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. And a lot of MAGA people are saying, well, wait a second, that's not normal hours for daycare. No, it is. It was an after-school daycare facility, so that's irrelevant. That's what it was. And the owner actually did some interviews earlier today and talked about that. Two of the other facilities were closed, one for quite some time now. State regulators have gone to all of the facilities in the last 48 hours that Shirley went to, and they have not found any problems, they say, that would warrant pausing payments to any of the centers. He also asks about rates. Even though many of these services are subsidy-based, meaning families, David, don't negotiate prices the way private customers do. That confusion was known as evidence, according to Nick Shirley, which it's not. He also went to home healthcare companies. Patients don't go to home healthcare companies, and that's what he went to. And, you know, again, going back to what I said earlier, he didn't uncover anything.
So there you go. That's our very own Brian Shapiro on OAN News, being interviewed by David Pollock. I guess I pronounced it wrong the first time, but that's the way I pronounce it. So that's Brian kind of, you know, showing that there's nothing to see here. And I don't know how, but Nick Shirley was able to get, you know, millions of views. I mean, you have to admit that he got millions. J.D. Vance jumped on it and said, this is something to see. And in my explanation, in my estimation, this is the MAGA universe doing what they're going to do anyway, and then they have these influencers go out with a cell phone and some security and basically help them justify what they're already doing to people in Minnesota and in that area. They're already, I mean, they have sent tons of law enforcement, tons of people. They're doing all kinds of investigations, and this is on the America's dime. America's dime. The taxpayers are paying for this, and I would say it's a waste of money, my opinion. And then, so as part of this same trend, I got a post, and it's Aaron from Queens, and he's claiming that he has new video evidence definitively proves that Nick Shirley is a lying fraud, and he's posted it at WCCO. And they confirmed that kids go to the ABC Learning Center. They spoke with the director, Ahmed Hassan, and reviewed surveillance video for the day of Nick's video. It proves kids were dropped off right before and after Nick stopped by. Let's take a look at the video.
This is ABC Learning Center in Minneapolis.
They have to learn ABC and numbers.
Director Ahmed Hassan gave WCCO a tour after finding his daycare in the national spotlight.
All right, we've arrived to ABC Learning Center.
In a now viral video, right-wing YouTuber Nick Shirley claims nearly a dozen daycare centers in Minnesota are taking public funds but not providing a service. He says ABC Learning Center is one of them, knocking on the door in mid-December.
I would like to check a child in the daycare.
Hassan says his employee didn't respond because Shirley was in a group of about 8 people, and his staff were concerned about recent ICE activity.
Is this daycare committing fraud?
No, we're not committing fraud.
Hassan showed us security footage from the same day Shirley was here. According to the timestamps in the videos, this woman takes a young child into the center at around 9 a.m. that day, about 3 hours before Shirley arrives at the door closer to the street. Within the hour after Shirley leaves, a woman arrives at the other door with a stroller. A larger family heads inside a few hours later. Tuesday afternoon, WCCO found at least a dozen children at ABC Learning Center, which is licensed with the state. Records show Minnesota officials last visited the daycare in November, noting some corrected and ongoing violations related to day-to-day operations, but no record of fraud.
What did I do? I'm just a typical human being who wants to live and do the right thing. I have kids to feed.
Umi Hassan, the daycare's current owner, believes these latest fraud accusations are political. Both she and Hassan are Somali Americans.
We pay our taxes. We do whatever we can to be a law-abiding citizen. At the same time, when one Somali does something wrong, we all get collective punishment.
With Shirley's video now approaching 2.3 million views on YouTube alone, they say they are getting non-stop phone calls harassing them.
I was looking for a place for my granddaughter.
With many of those calls attached to out-of-state phone numbers.
They normally say, knock, knock, we're gonna come. You're gonna arrest, something like that.
Hassan says they turned over attendance records to comply with the Department of Homeland Security request. They're now waiting to hear back. CBS News is reviewing records related to the same daycares. All but 2 have active licenses. And Aaron, while the active places have violations related to safety or staff training, there's no recorded evidence.
So Nick Shirley has been seriously discredited, and that takes him out of the journalism realm in my book. I'm not a journalist. I'm not certified to be a journalist, but I believe that your facts have to be accurate, and he's trying to provide details that are misleading. We all know he's misrepresenting facts. It's all misleading. There's no proof, and it's a responsibility of a journalist, a serious journalist, to document the times, the dates, the names, the interviews. And when they start putting out accusations, they need to be accurate in their accusations. And in this case, he was not. And now multiple videos are proving that everything that he said, that Nick Shirley said, are turning out to be inaccurate. So moving on from that drama, I have a little clip from our friend Adam Mockler, who we all love, and he's asking if they, meaning the administration, blew up boats and allegedly killed survivors for marijuana. The evidence just washed up. It wasn't fentanyl. It was weed. And he says, we are committing war crimes over a plant that is legal in 40 states. Let's listen to the clip.
MAGA Pete Hegseth may be in big trouble for his illegal strikes on boats in the Caribbean Ocean. The first physical evidence of his boat strikes has now washed up on the Venezuelan shore, and it is very, very damning for MAGA Pete Hegseth. These entire strikes were predicated on the fact that these ships were A, full of drugs, and B, headed to the United States to drop off said drugs. Well, guess what? Many of the boats were headed to Suriname, we now know, so we were just striking random ships, and we now also know that the first physical evidence has washed up and it contained marijuana. Not cocaine, not fentanyl, but a substance that is legal in 40 of 50 U.S. states. It's also worth pointing out, U.S. President Donald Trump said on Monday that the United States had, quote, hit an area in Venezuela where boats are loaded with drugs. So he hit not a ship, not boats, he hit an area in Venezuela. This would mark the first known time the United States has carried out operations on land in Venezuela since the pressure campaign began against Maduro.
By the way, my understanding of the Constitution is you're not able to bomb another country unless you're at war with them. There is no war that's been declared. They have to go through Congress. And so I think when that shakes out next year, this year, and we talk about the midterms and we talk about the Republicans and how this is making them look, I think it's going to make them look really bad. Because first it was drug boats headed for America, and then we found out that those tiny drug boats would have to refuel 4 or 5 times or more to reach the shores of America. Then it was that they're carrying drugs and they're killing the Americans. Then it was that it's fentanyl. And then we found out that fentanyl doesn't really come from Venezuela. It mostly comes from other countries. And then it was the ships, and then it was the oil, then it was a blockade. And by the way, they caught up to that ship that they were chasing. If you watch the news, one of the ships got away that they were trying to detain, and they've been chasing it for, I don't know how many days, maybe a week now. And now they're saying that the ship has a Russian flag posted on the side of the ship. So I don't know what's going to happen with that ship, because if it is a Russian ship, America would have a real problem with Russia if they decided to take that ship over. So now they bombed a warehouse that was supposedly where the drugs were loaded, and it was on land, and that's the first time in a very long time that we've bombed a country on land that we're not at war with. And so I think that people are saying that it could be war crimes. That people like Pete Hegseth, who's runs the Department of Defense, he doesn't have the same immunity that Trump has. He doesn't have the same protections that the president has. And so after the fact, when we start to take a look at it, I do believe that this will all be investigated one day, and there might be some indictments coming down. At least that's what it's looking like. And something interesting that I came across that I saw on a couple of different news cycles is that that Trump administration sent the U.S. Head Start providers a 6-page list of DEI words that they're not allowed to say. So Trump is saying that if they use these words in the schools, that they will revoke their federal funding. And so this is MS Now's Catherine Lampel, very smart lady. She's a very, very good reporter, and she's providing kind of a list of the words that they can no longer say in schools.
The Trump administration has been deleting inconvenient numbers, inconvenient records, and now inconvenient words, including at the nation's Head Start programs. According to a new court filing, the Trump administration sent pre-K programs a 6-page list of words that they are forbidden from using when describing themselves, or else they will lose public funding. Among the hundreds of apparently dangerous, banned words, race, accessible, disability, Gulf of Mexico, minority, trauma, tribal, belong, and women.
So I had to play this because it's so interesting. As you know, the pre-K programs affect over 700,000 children. And so is this not racism? Is it not trying to be prejudiced against certain words? Now children can't learn certain words and they can't use them, or they're going to revoke funding? Is that where we're at now? And so I played the clip because I want people to start to find out. I want them to think about what is really going on and what are we going to do about it. Because right now, there isn't really much we can do about it. We're looking at the midterms, and that's mostly, I'm told we're going to replay it. Let's replay the clip.
The Trump administration has been deleting inconvenient numbers, inconvenient records, and now inconvenient words, including at the nation's Head Start programs. According to a new court filing, the Trump administration sent pre-K programs a 6-page list of words that they are forbidden from using when describing themselves, or else they will lose public funding. Among the hundreds of apparently dangerous, banned words, race, accessible, disability, Gulf of Mexico, minority, trauma, tribal, belong, and women. Head Start programs in several states are suing HHS and Secretary RFK Jr. over their broader efforts to undermine the mission of this 60-year-old program, which provides early childhood education for more than 700,000 low-income kids. Joining us now to discuss is Ming-Chi Chu. She is Deputy Director of the ACLU's Women's Rights Project, which is involved in this case. Ming, thanks so much for joining us. So what is the government's argument in this case about why these words are banned, and what are the consequences for the programs and families that are served by Head Start?
Of course, thank you so much for having me. So the government's argument in this case is that they are implementing the government's incredibly vague and sprawling ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it puts providers really in an impossible position because the ban contradicts what providers have been told by Congress to do, which is specifically to meet the diverse needs of the communities that they serve. And for providers, the impact means that they can't talk about the very communities that they serve. They can't talk about the very services that they provide. And that makes them worried about how they're going to do their jobs. I mean, how can you teach kids with disabilities if you can't acknowledge that kids with disabilities exist? And let me just give you an example. So there is one provider in Washington that serves a significant number of kids with autism. So it was told by HHS that it could not get its federal funding unless it agreed to remove a training for its staff on how to teach kids with autism.
Wow.
Imagine being in the shoes of that provider and the difficult decisions you have to make and how hard it is when you don't know whether you can provide your staff with the training that they need to serve your kids.
So there you go. We played the clip twice because we cut it short the first time, but I wanted everyone to really hear what's really going on. And, you know, I guess everybody's avoiding the fact that this fight against DEI is really just racism. It's the new word for racism. It's the new way to say we don't want the minorities to have the same jobs we have. We don't want the minorities or the poor people or people of a different color or a different culture. We don't want diversity. We don't want equity. We don't want inclusion, because when you're against DEI, you're against diversity, you're against equity, and you're against inclusion. And so it's their way, in my opinion, of saying it's a new way of saying that they're racist, but they're not really admitting that they're racist. But to start to indoctrinate young children with words that they can't say and words, they're not, I mean, I don't think the children are going to forget that. I don't think the children are going to look at it and go, oh yeah, they taught me that when I was a kid. Some of it's going to remain in their brain. And so they're trying to change our culture. They're trying to make our culture adapt to their beliefs and their religious beliefs. And by the way, none of what they're doing, in my opinion, is Christian. And later on, we're going to take calls. And if someone wants to call in and prove to me that what they're doing fits the Christian narrative, I would love to debate that, because what they're doing is absolutely against Christianity. And hopefully we'll have some people. I know a lot of people are celebrating today, but maybe we'll have some people call in and they want to make their point. I would love to have them. Moving on. So one of the things I want to mention today is that America is the only industrialized nation that has the funding but does not have universal health care for all. You would be surprised to know that all those European nations, all the ones that we talk about, all the industrialized nations, all provide universal health care for everyone. It's what Canada does. And all developed nations provide health care. Even China and Russia have a hybrid type health care options subsidized by the government. They don't have the full universal health care that the other nations do, but they're way ahead of America. America is the only one that doesn't. And this is a video just to give you an example of how we help Israel. This is a list of benefits Israelis get that Americans don't.
Here's a list of benefits that Israeli residents get that Americans do not, all while the U.S. sends Israel $3.8 billion in funding each year. 1. Universal health care. Every Israeli citizen/resident is legally entitled to health coverage. 2. Caps on out-of-pocket medical costs. Annual out-of-pocket expenses are capped based on income and age. 3. Monthly child allowance. Israeli families receive a monthly payment per child from the government. 4. Paid parental leave. Paid maternity leave is on average 15 weeks guaranteed.
So why is that? Why does America have the highest medical costs of any industrialized modern country? Bernie Sanders talks about it all the time. He talks about how the top 2% have more wealth than the entire rest of the country. Why is that? It needs to be fixed. And to be honest with you, I don't. When Democrats are interviewed, and they want to run for president, and they want to run for senator, and they want to run for House of Representatives, why don't they make this their policy? Why don't they make it a policy and say, when they say, well, how do you feel about, the Affordable Care Act? How do you feel about Obamacare? What about the subsidies that were taken from the 22 million people who now are probably not going to even have health care? Why don't they say, well, I believe that universal health care should be for everyone in the United States of America, and I'm going to work toward that goal. And it's not such a lofty goal that you're like, wow, that's very, that's going to be tough. All of the other industrialized nations provide that for their citizens. So why not here in America? It's all about corporate greed. It's about prescription company greed. It's about medical coverage greed, and it needs to be fixed, because we have people in this country that will not even go to the doctor, that will not go for health care, that will not go to the hospital, that will not get surgeries because they can't afford to and they don't want to. So now I would like to wish everyone a happy New Year's Eve, because Numchuck, happy New Year's Eve. And I will be with my family tonight. Hopefully you'll be with yours, enjoying tonight. I will not be going to the Strip. The Vegas Strip is supposed to have, I think, 500,000 people. I'm not sure. I don't remember what the figure was. I know New York City is expecting 1 million. And so if you know anything about Vegas and the surrounding cities, you know that most of us do not go to the Strip on a night like this, because it's going to be super packed, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun and maybe a little dangerous. And the fireworks, they say, even though it's going to rain tonight, it might be windy, as of right now, the fireworks display are on. Several casinos are going to have fireworks from the roof, so it's looking good. So I just want to wish everyone a happy New Year's Eve. And then we're going to do a little segment that I call the 2025 Trump Year in Review. And this is not a complete list, but this is a quick list of some of the things he's done, just to remind everyone what President Trump has done since he's gotten into office. He's offended all Canadians by saying a sovereign country should be our 51st state, withdrew from the World Health Organization, pressured Denmark to sell Greenland to the United States, appointed RFK Jr. as the Secretary of Health, issued an executive order against paper straws. He's trying to end birthright citizenship, renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America, banned the Associated Press for refusing to call it the Gulf of America, pardoned all 1,500 January 6th defendants, ended DEI programs within the federal government, and pressured private businesses to do the same. 25% on tariffs, 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, charging $5 million for a golden visa, whatever that is. Made Tulsi Gabbard the Director of National Intelligence, made Pete Hegseth Secretary of Defense, Sean Duffy the Secretary of Transportation. He let Elon Musk run Doge and let him fire hundreds of thousands of federal employees, banned federal funds for gender-affirming care for young people, appointed Kash Patel as Director of the FBI, appointed Dan Bongino as Deputy Director of the FBI, withdrew America from the Paris Climate Agreement, suspended the TikTok ban, banned trans people from the military, suspended refugee admissions, reinstated service members discharged for refusing COVID-19 vaccinations. He named Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight as special ambassadors to Hollywood, conducted mass deportations, expanded ICE and increased their powers, fired about 270,000 federal employees, ordered embassies to fly only the American flag. Trump took over the Kennedy Center and put his name on it, signed an executive order saying that there are only two sexes, ended remote working for federal workers, appointed Pam Bondi as U.S. Attorney General, authorized strikes on boats in the Caribbean Sea, said Epstein files are a hoax, said affordability is a Democratic hoax, believes tariffs are good for America, charges NATO for weapons and other military items for Ukraine, failed to stop the conflict between Israel and Hamas, even though he said he would, failed to stop the war between Russia and Ukraine, even though he said he would do it within 24 hours, did not receive the Nobel Peace Prize, deployed the military and National Guard to American cities, allowed ACA Obamacare government subsidies to expire, leaving 22 million Americans without adequate health coverage, ended the SNAP program, for hungry children, ended the WIC program for moms and babies, ended program to research childhood cancer, and tens of thousands of military vets and support staffs are laid off as we sit here, as we speak. And so I wanted to bring a little bit of a year in review, and it's exhausting. The list is exhausting because that's not even all of the things that he did. But, Steve Bannon tipped their hand when President Trump first was inaugurated, and he said his advice to Trump was to have 3 major stories per day, even if they're not real, even if they're stupid and silly, to have 3 a day and flood the zone so people just can't keep up with all the drama and they kind of lose their way. So what are we going to do? What we're going to do is we're going to take a short break, some station identification type stuff that we have to do. We're going to take a break for a couple of minutes, and then after the break, we'll be taking your phone calls at 702-221-7283. That's 702-221-7283. And for those of you who go in the live chat every day, I guess yesterday there were at least 2 or 3 or 4 people saying they were going to call in and debate today. I think they were MAGAs or shady MAGAs, or I don't know if they were conservative or independent. They seem like they're Republicans, even though they don't want to identify themselves as Republicans. So it's 702-221-7283. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back. Make you part of the show with your phone calls.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Here's the deal. The country's a mess, and America's youth is stuck at the center of a tug-of-war between propaganda, billionaires, and political clowns who think TikTok is a national security threat, yet can't open their own email. But the real threat that keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote, and that's what the Unfuck America tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future. Our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit back while the rich strip this country for parts. We need you to help us stay on the road to push back against the misinformation machine. Click the link in the description or head over to unfuckamericatour.com to donate, because nobody else is coming to fix this mess.
Hey, everybody. Are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premium Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Here's the deal. The country's a mess, and America's youth is stuck at the center of a tug-of-war between propaganda, billionaires, and political clowns who think TikTok is a national security threat, yet can't open their own email. But the real threat that keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote, and that's what the Unfuck America tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future. Our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit back while the rich strip this country for parts. We need you to help us stay on the road to push back against the misinformation machine. Click the link in the description or head over to unfuckamericatour.com to donate, because nobody else is coming to fix this mess.
Okay, welcome back to Pushing the Limits Talk radio show with your host, Leonard Cardinelli, filling in for Brian Shapiro, who is getting a well-deserved rest for the New Year's Eve. He's going somewhere tonight. I don't know where he's going. I will be home with the family, chilling, relaxing, trying to stay safe because I think it's going to be insane out there in Vegas tonight. Big party in Vegas. If you're not doing anything, come on down. Go to the Strip. I won't be there, but some 400,000 or so people will be there, and hopefully they'll do the fireworks. So let's go to the phone lines, and let me remind everyone, the phone number is 702-221-7283. Call in with your comments, suggestions, your debate topics, whatever you want to talk about. And the first one we're going to take is Terry. Let's start with Terry. Hi, Terry. It's Leonard.
Hi, Leonard. Hi. Good afternoon.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. Just a couple talking points here on some of the things that you were touching on earlier. In terms of, let's talk about the cost of gasoline. I don't know how many times I have to talk to people in my own community, in my own family, in my own network, or whatever, that no president has any influence on the price of gasoline. The price of gasoline is determined by two simple words, don't need a master class, supply and demand. Frankly, I'm getting a little tired of all the stickers that are showing up at my gas station saying that Donald Trump is making this happen for you. That is not true.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. The second thing is I don't believe anything that comes out of their mouths in terms of data about the economy and employment and things like that. I mean, what they've done with those agencies that actually report that information, I think they're giving misinformation about that. I truly do. And as far as this young man who's running around to these daycare centers, I used to work in a daycare center, and if he showed up in my daycare center, I would have called the local officials and had him removed from the daycare
You think
facility.
Nick Shirley creepy? Would he seem like a creeper if he came in?
I think he's very creepy. Absolutely. I think he's a terrible person.
You say, hey,
And
I'm
he's
here
out there-
I'm here to film some kids. I have my staff with me. Are you okay with me? Oh no, you're not allowing me to film the kids? That's fraud.
Exactly. I think he's just a terrible person. And the last thing I wanted to talk with you about is I think the only true thing that I've heard come out of Mike Johnson's mouth was when he delivered a speech at one of those talking points things that I guess happened a couple of weeks ago, where he said that if the Democrats, if they lose, the Republicans lose the House, the majority, Democrats will move to impeach the president and create absolute chaos. Yes, we will do that to you if we can. That's the only honest thing I have heard come out of that man's mouth.
But we would also have to turn the Senate, or we would have to have a number of senators, Republican senators, agree, because, as you know, Trump was already impeached twice. But when it got to the Senate side,
and it was right, and the Senate would never, they wouldn't.
right, the
vote
Senate
on
has
it.
to
There
convict,
weren't enough
and the
votes.
Senate has to convict, and it has to be 60 votes minimum, and so
Exactly.
yeah, it has to be a supermajority, and so, but the thing that I see coming, Terry, and I don't know if a lot of people would agree with this, but what I'm seeing is a number of people, like these discharge petitions. You can't get a discharge petition to go unless the Republicans get on board with the Democrats. So what if the Republicans are so upset at the way they're treated by the Trump administration, which they said they are, that enough senators turn, because then you can impeach in the House of Representatives, and then, as you know, the Senate is more of like a trial atmosphere, and they convict.
Exactly.
They convict
They
in the
have
Senate.
the last
If you're
word on it.
convicted
Yes.
in the Senate, you can no longer be president of the United States. And I can tell you,
That
when
is
it comes to
correct.
gas, it's absolutely about supply and demand, but they manipulate how much supply we have and how much demand we have. And I think we have a lot less supply than the administration is really showing us. But I can tell you that all the modern vehicles, I have modern vehicles, newer vehicles, and they all you have to get the 91 octane. So no one in my family is buying the regular unleaded, and that's the price that everybody goes by. But nobody really puts that in their vehicle unless they have a very old vehicle. And so I'm in the
true.
fours. I'm paying $4.59, $4.69 a gallon, and at the gas stations that I go to. So when they say gas prices are down, I would have to respectfully disagree.
Yes, I totally agree. I'm on board with you there.
Well, let me ask
with
you
that,
something,
Leonard.
Terry, while I have you on the phone. Since you used to teach at a daycare, what do you think of the fact that in pre-K they're now they're banning words that children can no longer say?
That is absolutely absurd, and I can tell you right now. When I was teaching in daycare back in the 90s, part of the late 80s and early 90s, I was one of the first teachers in my daycare program to start a multicultural program with my 4-year-olds. And we did it with very creative ways. Like, for example, at Christmas time, we would do a Christmas around the world. How different countries and cultures do Christmas. And I had a Martin Luther King Day that we would do Martin Luther King things. And my concern is right now is you brought it up right now, is the language that can be used and what information can be shared or taught.
Is that not a totalitarian government? Is that not dictatorship?
Absolutely.
Is that not authoritarian? Is it not?
Yeah, I mean, it is just, it's very disturbing. It really is.
Well,
yeah.
I thank you for the call, Terry. We have other people on hold. Sorry, but I'm going to move on and have a happy New Year's Eve and stay safe. And I will talk to you on the other side.
Thank you, Leonard. To you as well.
Day. Thank you. Good phone call. Okay, next we have Carl. We're going to line one. Carl. Hi, Carl. It's Leonard. What's on your mind?
Well, I hope you have a good New Year's.
You too.
Listen, what makes me I get a laugh out of is Trump with his throwing up all these ships coming from South America and all to keep the drugs out of this country, when he just pardoned the largest drug dealer in the history of the world, who was bringing tons of drugs into this country.
It was like 400
and
tons,
he just
was it?
pardoned him. Yeah, something like that. And here he is pardoning a man like that, and yet trying to blow up ships that probably could never make it to this country anyway. I think a lot of them were not drug boats and just killed a lot of people for possibly no reason. And actually pardons this man, pardons him, who's the largest drug dealer in the world.
Do you think that the people in the Trump administration who are not under the same immunity as the president, do you think they'll be held accountable on the other side of this when Trump is no longer in power? And do you think there'll be indictments and crimes against humanity, those types of things? Is that possible?
I think there's going to be some big uproar. I think in the midterms, the Democrats are going to take charge of the Congress and very possibly the Senate. And there's going to be hell to pay for Trump. And when he can only pardon himself for federal charges, federal crimes. There are many state crimes that are still against him that he can do nothing about, and there's going to be a hell of a large problem due to this. He's, I don't want to go into a long-term thing, but I was retired. I was a psychologist, and I'm listening to him, sees that I can see he's going downhill very quickly.
Did you ever diagnose a megalomaniac? Did you ever have that occasion to do that?
He's definitely has touches of that, but he's also got touches of his tremendous lies are actually.
Oh yeah, psychosis. That's when your reality is not the reality that exists.
Yeah. He. Most people, normal people, have a block in their mind where they want to tell a lie, but their mind tells them, no, this is a lie. But he doesn't have that blockade there. I don't even think sometimes he knows he's lying. It's just a psychological thing with him, and he's in such bad shape that way that I think he's just gone.
I'm sure you could write an entire novel on the psychological aspects, but I'm going to have to. I have other callers coming in, so I'm going to cut you short. But it was a good call, Carl. Always good to talk to you. Always to hear what you have to say. Always good. Have a happy New Year. Appreciate the call.
Well, my New Year's been a little tough this year because my wife passed away on the 13th of this month. So
I'm sorry to hear that. We'll
we'll
say a prayer
tough.
for you, and we'll keep you keep
you
it on our mind, and we'll give you
I know
our
it's
condolences.
almost 50 years with us. So
well, then look at stick to the happy, stick to the happiness of the 50 years, and
that's
think
true.
about the good times.
It
Remember the
was.
good times, and when you
I
think
do.
of her.
I do. Well,
All right,
thank
have a
you.
good New Year.
Okay.
Thank you.
You too.
Good call. Moving on, we're going to Mathan. Oh, line 3. Chris. We're going to Chris next. Chris, this is Leonard. You're on Pushing the Limits radio show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Leonard. How's it going? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Okay, so there's just a couple things I want to get off my chest really quick before I'll get going. But a lot of these MAGA people who say that, that those of us with sense they call it Trump derangement system, TDS. Unfortunately, those people have no idea what derangement even means. It's just sad because anybody with sense even brings up one thing wrong with Trump and what he's done, they turn into massive lunatics and they can't stand hearing the truth and they get all defensive. Blah blah. It's like
Isn't there
the deranged
a
one?
component of derangement being brainwashed and being in a cult and
Pretty much.
and having a reality that's different than everyone else's reality? So I think they coined the phrase just so we, normal people wouldn't coin it on them. I think that's what happened, Chris.
Right, absolutely. And the other thing really quick, Steve, there's a lot of people that ask the question that, what makes these people, support Trump? Why do they support him? What is it going to take? What is it going to take? What does he have to do to show them how much of a nut job and how much of a disgrace he is? But unfortunately, there's one problem. As long as he caters to their racism, their bigotry, their hatred, you name it. As long as he caters to everything, that they want to see, they're going to support him. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as he caters to everything. If he hates it, he's going to give them what they want. Especially with the white Christian stuff. When it comes to their beliefs, if he caters to it, they're going to support him. That's just how it works with them.
So
I don't know how.
I agree. And there's a lot of angry people. There's a lot of white nationalists who are upset about other people being in this country, and they're upset they don't make enough money or they can't get the right job. And then someone comes along like Trump and his administration, and you know what they do? They get all these angry people who don't like their lives, and they go, that person is to blame for it. The Mexicans who are driving your trucks who can't read English.
Yep, absolutely.
And they say it's the Somalians in Minnesota. They're the ones who are ruining your life. and they say we have to close the border and we can't allow people to work here. We're not giving out visas. And it becomes a white nationalist regime, does it not?
And here's the best part, Leonard. Here's the best part before I let you get going. Here is the best part. I've already seen examples of all this backfiring where there are like there's factories and stuff that are closing down because they can't find staff, because a lot of their staff are, what are they? I'm not saying all, but a lot of the immigrants, whether legal or not. And that's what these people are not getting through their thick skulls. But they're never going to get it through their thick skulls because of their hatred. That's just the way it is.
Americans don't want the jobs. They don't want to pick strawberries for 12 hours a day. They don't want to pick cotton. They don't want to clean the pig pens after the pigs are finished. They don't want to milk the cows, and they don't want to pasteurize the milk. That's the point. That's what we're trying to say. And for some reason,
absolutely, it's just going to go in one ear out the other.
So they don't want the job, but they don't want anybody else to have it. And isn't their mindset really the MAGAs that I don't care if it hurts my life or I don't care if I lose something as long as those other people don't get it? Isn't that what they're really saying?
What they're saying is, I hate myself so much that if I'm gonna go down, I'm taking everybody else with me. That is their mindset, in my opinion.
Well, what kind of intelligent, common sense person would hurt themselves or hurt their family or lose their farms or lose their cattle or lose what they have or benefits or SNAP benefits? 75% in the southern states, 75% of the SNAP benefits, the food stamps, and the WIC program go to white Americans, but they don't care. Because Trump says, "Oh well, you're gonna have to hurt for a while. You're gonna have to hurt for a while, and we're all gonna have to suffer." Well, you know what? He's a billionaire. He's not suffering ever. He doesn't need any programs.
His cronies are not suffering at all, and that is what these MAGA idiots are not getting through their thick skulls. And unfortunately, unless something big, major happens, it's never going to change. But anyways, I said my piece. I thank you so much for taking my call.
No, we appreciate the call, and always good to talk to you. Have a happy New Year.
Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Moving on. Going to line 4, Ryan. Ryan, this is Leonard. What's on your mind? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's Eve, Leonard. What's on my mind is Trump and RFK blame Tylenol for autism, which is not true.
Yeah, there's no scientific proof of that. What they actually said was that, and he talked about it affecting pregnancies, and there's been some incidents where people have been affected by it, but there's really no scientific proof that on a large scale that any of that is true. So you have to ask yourself, why did Trump pick him to be the HHH secretary? Why did he pick him?
I think he picked him because he's a liar like Trump.
Yeah, didn't RFK dump a bear in Central Park and they didn't solve the case for 10 years and he admitted to it? Didn't he find a whale or something on a beach and tie it to his roof rack and blood was all over his car?
That's very true. And he likes Trump likes people like that, and he likes the uneducated people too.
Yeah, I just I can't believe that the choices that he's made, Ryan. It's just unbelievable. But thank you for your call. Always a good call with you. Have a happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.
All right, bye.
Moving on. So now we're going to line 2, Mathan. Mathan,
Hi.
It's Leonard at PTL. What's on your mind?
Hi, Leonard. Well, as a former dispatcher, I just wanted to say Happy New Year to my favorite retired officer, Leonard.
Well, Happy New Year to my
other than
favorite
that-
dispatcher. Although hopefully no dispatchers are listening to this from where I used to work because they would not appreciate that.
Well, I still work with the law enforcement community here in my town, so we all want to say Happy New Year to the PTL Nation, and that's all I really had to say.
Well, you know what? Thank you for your service also because, like I've said before on the show, I've seen the amount of stress that dispatchers have to put up with. And people call in and they're screaming on the phone and they're crying and they're emotional, or maybe they're just mean. You know, and for a police officer, we're
Yeah.
out there on the street and we can deal with the person depending on how they treat us. But the dispatchers have to take the call, and they have to process all that emotion, and they're always looking out for the police, and they love their police officers, and they want them to stay safe, and they want them to stay informed. And so I know that you guys take it very personally, and so do we, and we appreciate what you do.
Thank you, and we love you all. Have a great New Year.
Okay, we're taking your phone calls at 702-221-7283. That's 702-221-7283. There's a couple of people that promised me yesterday in the live chat that they were going to call today, and so far we haven't gotten those calls. I'm not surprised, because this is live on the air, and it's not hiding behind a keyboard and making nasty comments to people. And so if you want to call in, call in. So we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side we're going to take some more of your phone calls.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
And America's youth is stuck at the center of a tug-of-war between propaganda, billionaires, and political clowns who think TikTok is a national security threat, yet can't open their own email. But the real threat that keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote, and that's what the Unfuck America tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future, our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit back while the rich strip this country for parts. We need you to help us stay on the road to push back against the misinformation machine. Click the link in the description or head over to unfuckamericatour.com to donate, because nobody else is coming to fix this mess.
You are way too smart, way too talented, way too good to be where you are. You are meant to be making way more money, feel way hotter in your body, and having way more fun. Hi, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm a life coach. I help you get hotter and richer. If that is what you're looking for, you can find me at NicoleMitchell.com. My name, Nicole, is with a K, NicoleMitchell.com. You can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram, and I will be happy to be in touch and figure out what you're looking for and how I can support you in getting there.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our website is www.hockeyforkids.org.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is. Because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Here's the deal. The country's a mess, and America's youth is stuck at the center of a tug-of-war between propaganda, billionaires, and political clowns who think TikTok is a national security threat, yet can't open their own email. But the real threat that keeps them up at night isn't TikTok. It's the power of the youth vote, and that's what the Unfuck America Tour is after. We're traveling the country, hitting campuses and cities, exposing the right wing's playbook and calling out all the tricks they use to hook young people. We saw the youth vote shift in 2024, and if we don't reclaim that momentum now, we lose the future, our future. We're not bankrolled by billionaires, corporations, or dark money. We're backed by regular people like you, who won't sit back while the rich strip this country for parts. We need you to help us stay on the road to push back against the misinformation machine. Click the link in the description or head over to unfuckamericatour.com to donate, because nobody else is coming to fix this mess.
Okay, we're back on the PTL radio show with your guest host, Leonard Cardinelli. Brian will be back on Friday. I think we're doing best of tomorrow. Does that sound right? Nothing tomorrow? Okay, so Brian will be back on Friday. I'm sure you're all looking forward to that. We're taking your calls at 702-221-7283. Let's go to Darlene, the MAGA destroyer. Hi, Darlene. Happy New Year. How are you?
Hey, Leonard. Leonard, you know you're my favorite host now.
Thank you. I
Anyway,
appreciate that.
then, I just want to tell all of PTO Nation, I love you guys. We all got to stick together, and we got to fight, because the blue wave is coming, but wait a moment, it's already here. And MAGAs, you're so uneducated. And Leonard, let me tell a quick little story, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Take your time.
I was watching a Gen Z person talking to a YouTube person, and they were discussing about 2028 and about who was going to be running, and they're like, well, it's going to be Vance and Newsom. I kid you not. You know how Trump was uneducated? Let me tell you what the Gen Z MAGA said. He said, I'm going to vote for Newsom because he's better looking.
What?
He said, I swear to God, it's on video. This is how stupid MAGA is. You're idiots. And you need to get your head on straight.
Well, it has to do with the generations. I noticed that millennials and Gen Zers, and especially I think we're Generation Alpha now, if I'm not mistaken, they're very, very concerned about looks and how people look and how handsome or how pretty they are. They're like they won't even listen to what you have to say, no matter how intelligent you are, if you're not a good-looking person. And so I think it's a bit shallow, but it's the whole generation, Darlene. It really is. And the MAGAs are the worst at it.
Oh, I know. I just wish that they would look in the mirror and look real hard in the mirror and say, what am I doing? Are you really that stupid that you don't know what Trump has did for the whole year? I mean, it's crazy. And I don't even know what to say really anymore, but I'm going to keep fighting, Leonard. And I want everybody, like Brian said, please go into Facebook. Go everywhere. Put down PTL. Put their phone number, the station. I do it every day. I'm constantly doing it because we want to put the word out that the truth is at PTL.
Well, let me ask you something, Darlene, because I know you're in the live chat sometimes. Why do you think some of these, mostly men, come into the live chat and try to bully people and make negative comments and challenge? And then when you say, hey, there's lines open, why don't you call in? They have every excuse in the world for not calling in. And do you think they're just scared? Do you think they're cowards, just hiding behind the keyboard?
I just think they're chickens. If all you got to do...
I'll be nice to them.
I know. I mean, they talk about you when you're not here. They want to debate you, but then when you're here, they don't want nothing. You know.
The guy David yesterday, he said he guaranteed he was going to call me today and debate the one who thought it was a good idea for Trump to cancel the CDL licenses for the truck drivers who were Mexican, who didn't speak great English, and he thought it was such a good idea. And I even told him, I said, I think his position was very racist. I think because he was kind of happy about that. Even though remember, he's trying to say that these truck drivers are taking jobs from Americans, and which is not true. There's 60 to 80,000 people short on truck drivers, and it's going to be 100,000 soon. But that's just an example of how people, act like they know so much, especially the MAGAs. They come off and then they get frustrated, and they curse, and they call names, and the next thing you know, they just want to hang up on you or not call at all.
I know. It's ridiculous. It's childish. I just want them to look in the mirror and say, what are you doing? I mean, open up it doesn't take much to go check out your evidence. There's evidence. There's facts. Yeah, it's not all AI. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of trying to tell these maggots, and I show it to them. I have showed them that he went into the teenagers and looked at the naked women, and they all keep coming back at me, it's just AI. I'm like, no, it's not.
Let me tell you something. If Trump told MAGA that the earth was flat and not round, and said that the fact that they're saying it's round is a Democratic hoax, they would believe him. They would. They would say, I can't believe it. I thought it was round. And now finally someone has admitted that it's flat, because I know that when I go look at it, it's flat. There is no curve. So I know the earth is flat. I mean, that's how insane, that's how out of reality they are. They're so far from reality, it's ridiculous.
Well, Leonard, you have a very happy New Year, and everybody at PTL Nation across the world, we love you all, and let's keep fighting, and we're going to take that man down.
Have a happy New Year, Darlene, and keep up the energy, keep up the power. We love you.
Oh, I will. As long as I'm living and my mouth is going, you better believe it, I'm going to keep talking.
Happy
Whether
New Year.
they like it or not, they can cut me down, whatever. But when I go to bed at night, I have a clear conscience, and I know I'm telling the truth, and that's all that matters.
Well, we got you.
Everybody, please be safe.
Okay, you too, and be safe. Have a happy New Year.
Okay.
Always a good
Love you
call from
guys.
Darlene,
Bye.
the MAGA destroyer, straightening everyone out and putting things in perspective. And everyone in the PTL Nation, well, not everyone, but mostly everyone loves Darlene in the PTL Nation, and she's a good friend to everyone, a very kind person, but very strong person. So now we're going to go to line 2. We're going to go to Alexa. Alexa, hello, it's Leonard. Happy New Year.
Hi, Leonard. How are you?
I'm good. I'm having some fun here. I'm waiting for some of these brave MAGAs to call in who said they were going to call in but and debate, but I don't know what happened.
They won't do it because there's chickens. There's chickens.
Hey, chicken.
Yeah, chickens.
That's
but what
funny.
I have to say about these MAGA, they are not going to change. And if we don't let them get to us, they will not have power.
No, they try. I mean, what they do is most, even Charlie Kirk, when he was debating, if you listen to what he was saying, a lot of the things he was saying were not accurate. He was not using facts at all times. He made up a lot of things as he went along, and he was very racist, in my opinion, because he talked about how black women only get the jobs that the white men are qualified for only because there didn't happen to be a white man at the business. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. I mean, does it get more racist than that?
No. And I have a saying that I live by. Walk in somebody's shoes. Walk a mile in somebody's shoes. And we rarely do that. Listen to that thing. Walk a mile in somebody's shoes. And then you'll know what it's like. We all can do that.
I think even the Bible says it, doesn't it? Doesn't it say, take the log out of your eye before you try to pluck the speck out of mine? Doesn't it say that? I guess they didn't read that part.
I just feel like, for Christians, for these people to be Christians, I'd rather not have them as Christians. Why don't they just say what they want to say and say they don't care about humanity?
Yeah, Yeah. What kind of people don't care if you have medical coverage and you're a child and your children are going to die or not get medical? What kind of people say, "Oh well, that's you know what, you shouldn't have been on that program. Oh well, I guess they're going to have to either be sick or die." What kind of people say that?
I know that I'm disabled and I just lost my age yesterday, and I don't think I'll get it back. But I just want people to know I still a human being that deserves to have the same thing as everybody else, and I will fight for everybody, but I will not sit there and take the bull crap anymore.
Well, I agree with you on that, Alexa, and thank you very much for the call. Always a good call with you. Have a happy New Year and stay safe, okay?
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, moving on. Next, we're going to go to Chris. We're going to go to line 3. Chris, hi, this is Leonard.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. What's on your mind?
Hi, Leonard. I just wanted to reiterate what Terry was saying about daycare. I also worked in that situation for a while, and there's no way that somebody could walk up to a daycare haphazardly without, prearranging, and filming children would be absolutely, against the law, basically, I think. Has to be signed off by parents. But it's also so good to hear from Darlene.
Oh yeah, we love Darlene. Wouldn't it be liable? Wouldn't the school be liable if they allowed a stranger to come in and film children?
Yes. They're very careful.
And so there's more on. Nick Shirley is saying, "Oh yeah, I'm showing up right now, and they won't let me in to film the children. We're just here to take pictures. I just want to see the children." And then he goes, they must be committing fraud because they won't let me in. They won't let me come in and see the children. Who wants to go in and no school would do that anyway, because then they would have the liability, correct?
Absolutely. And parents have to pre-sign off that their child could be filmed. That's absolutely, it's just insane. And the list of the words, it's just mind-blowing.
Did you think Nick Shirley was a MAGA grifter? Those are my words. Would you use those words when describing him?
It's bizarre. Yeah, it's just bizarre. It's sad.
It was bizarre and not factual. And J.D. Vance jumped on it. And what Nick Shirley was trying to accomplish was objectively not legal. And they're trying to argue that there was some kind of cover-up. And what he was trying to do is not legally allowed. Journalists don't show up at childcare and say, "Can we make sure there's children here?" That's not how it's done. And it wasn't a cover-up. It was people protecting the children like they said they were going to when they got their license.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for the call.
Yes.
We appreciate it, Chris.
Yeah.
And,
well, Happy New Year to you.
Yes, have a Happy New Year and stay safe out there.
You as well. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Who do we got? We got Eric next. Hi, Eric. This is Leonard. What's on your mind? Happy New Year.
Yes. Hi, Leonard. How you doing?
Good.
I'm an immigrant from Poland, and my thing is I'm kind of frustrated how people here, especially MAGA, not especially MAGA, how they change position on Russia, how all of a sudden it's okay for president to even shake the hand of Putin's, those people, I think they don't know history. They don't know how Putin and KGB operates. That's what they do. They just play games. And the people here have to pick up the history books and read a little bit, how we were invaded in Poland, not just by Germans. We were invaded by Russians too. So we never trust Russians. We never will trust Russians. Okay.
Do you believe that Russia would take over Poland tomorrow if they were able to?
Well, of course, but they are not. And see, that's the misinformation. Not misinformation. This is lack of information because people here, they think, Russia's got 25% of the country, right? Listen, took them 4 years to do that. How many people? They lost
over 1 million.
100,000 people They got 25% of Ukraine.
Well, I believe
for
Russia
superpower-
lost close to 1 million, and I believe I don't remember the last figure for Ukraine, but it was about 150, 200,000. But like you said, too many lives. But what I find interesting is that our president in the United States feels close and feels friendly with someone who's obviously a dictator. I mean, oppression is really the way of the world in Russia. The fact that you're calling this radio station, the fact that you're on a podcast, the fact that you can be an immigrant from Poland and give your opinion right here, right now, today, and it's perfectly legal and perfectly within your rights, just shows that America is the opposite of Russia. It's the opposite of China. It's the opposite of North Korea. And that's what a lot of Americans need to understand better. A lot of MAGAs need to understand that we're a different country. We don't want dictators. We don't want authoritarian people. We don't want people like that in charge. We believe in civil rights. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws and the rules of America. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, of course I do. You know, I mean, even post-war, you know, because we were the Eastern Bloc, so they left us with Stalin, okay? And it was kind of the same thing is going on right now, you know. People were disappearing, you know. You got people coming to your house in the middle of the night, and my grandfather, you know, used to tell me stories. I'm 55, okay, so I don't remember myself, but the older people always said, you know, the people are just disappearing, people who said something, you know. There was no freedom, and here those people, they don't understand. They do not understand what freedom
whenever
really
I can.
is.
I try. That's why I do the radio show. I think people need to understand what's really going on in America, what we're really about. If you even go back to 1776, it was not just white people that started America. There were slaves. There were other countries. There were people from Europe. There were people from all over. It was mostly white, but America would have never became what it is today without immigrants. Am I right?
Of course, and guess why people escape Europe, escape this oppression.
That is
because the
absolutely.
religion-
We left tyranny and
religion, you know?
oppression. Did we not? Did we not leave tyranny and oppression? Isn't that why we
Yeah.
left?
Oh, that's why I mean, I didn't left tyranny, but you know what? I'm not pro-guns, and I didn't like to go to army. It was mandatory. I was 20 years old. I got here in 1991, you know, and guess what? I was here by myself at just 20 years old. I'm 55 right now, and I'm ready next year to go back to my country because, you know, I don't like what's going on here, and I don't like to live in between the people. They are so hateful, you know. You got roughly 100 years to live, you know, and those people concentrate all their energy to just hate, you know, hate because he's an immigrant. You know what? No, this is a jealousy because immigrants can come here, make a business. I had a trucking business until I could not do CDL anymore because, you know, I got my Social Security. I do pay taxes, but I'm still illegal here, and I cannot get legal here, okay?
Really?
I cannot. Because the system doesn't let you, because they don't want, you know, people to make livable wage. They want to hire somebody. Oh, you are illegal here? Okay. Here, you work for this or you get out of here, you know, and they do know the people's going to take the job, you know. I won't, you know, I make good
I still
money,
think
but that's it.
I still think it's a great country, and a lot of the European countries are having real issues right now with crime and with their finances, and you know, they're having trouble in the UK with producing the budget, and they're starting to have protests. So Europe has its problems also, and I still think this is a great country. In fact, I would tell you that I don't understand what Donald Trump means when he says "Make America Great Again." I would love someone to call in and tell me when America was not great. I would love someone to call in and say this is when America was not great, because even at its worst times, it was still the greatest or one of the greatest countries on the planet, was it not?
Yeah, of course it was.
And this is where, you know, this is where we have freedom. This is where you can have civil rights. This is where you can have your right to start, like you said, start your own business.
Yeah, you can buy a house, you know, you can do anything if you really want to, you know, not just sit on your ass and complain, you know, that, oh, people get food stamps. You know, not everybody is equal, not everybody can, equal in a sense that can get any job that they would like to have, good paying job. There are people that they are stuck in the jobs that pay the lowest wages, and what are they supposed to do,
You can't help what you're born into, and I don't know what people's impression of me is, but we did not have a lot growing up. My dad worked hard, and we didn't have a lot, and I went out into the world, and I went to college, and I tried to make something of myself, and in this country you can do it. In other countries, they don't allow that. Especially in the Middle Eastern countries, if you're a woman, they tell you whether or not you can get educated. I think that's terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't like that in Poland. Everybody can get education.
No, Poland's good country. Right? Good country. Free people, Poland, very brave, very strong. They stood up for their country at every turn, and I think that for some reason, I think because Russia had Poland at one point, but I think that Vladimir Putin, if he had the opportunity, would love to take Poland back. I don't know why, but he just wants that country, and I don't exactly know why.
Let me tell you something right now. I know from because you cannot find information about Russia anywhere. You cannot, really. Rachel Maddow's got some, on YouTube, but you cannot. If Poland and the Baltic states would decide to attack Russia, they would take Russia in 1 week.
Yes.
Without nuclear. Yes. Of course, without nuclear.
That's
weapons.
Why Ukraine is so important, because once they get done with Ukraine, Poland may be next on the list. They're just going to push through.
Yeah, but they don't have a means to do that. They don't have a means. You know what's going on in Russia? They are on brink of collapsing. The economy is so bad. People are on the streets. They are on brink of collapse, and but Putin doesn't want nobody to know that, okay? Because he want to look strong in the eyes of everybody else. But he's not strong. He's weak. He knows he's weak. If everybody if Trump cuts all that, help, because this is a helping Russia, okay? 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, No, don't negotiate with them, Give Ukraine what they want, and they will destroy Russia.
Well, as a couple of weeks ago, the European Union they have about $300 billion that they could give to Ukraine. That's frozen assets and frozen money that belongs to Russia, and they could have given it to Ukraine for the war, and they decided to hold off, which I thought was a bad decision.
No, they want to do it, but there was countries, pro-Russian countries, that they vetoed that. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, that was the problem. But like Hungary, right? But that guy is not going to be in power very long. There are protests over there too. Okay,
and Trump loves him. So, Erdogan.
Of course, because
Trump loves him.
Putin. Trump was there in 1985, and and they got ties together, and nobody want to see this. I don't know why.
All right. Well, we really appreciate the call, Eric. Have a happy New Year. Call in again because your experiences are very relevant to the conversation. And stay safe out there.
Okay. Thank you, and same to you. And same to all your listeners. Bye-bye.
Okay. We're taking calls at 702-221-7283. And we're going to line 2. We're going to Jason. Hey, Jason. How are you? Happy New Year, brother.
Hey, Happy New Year to you as well. I figured out the only way you can debate them if you run the dozen, because they're too infantile to have a real debate. They're not that intelligent enough. So I just say, let's go run the dozens on them. Like, I talk about your mama, I talk about your grandmama, I talk about your wife, I talk about your little kids, that they're all going to starve to death because they're mega. So that's the only way you're going to debate them, because intelligence, not their forte. So I want to wish you a happy 26th. And may you be blessed beyond belief, you and Brian, and you'll keep on doing your work, and I'll keep on chiming in. But more than anything, to all my PTL real crew, I hope you all have a blessed 26. And all you MAGAs, I hope you all are deported. All deported to South
Deported to El Salvador.
in a maximum prison. I hope every MAGA is deported to the you and the orange turd. And anybody that wants to defend them, you are the mushroom gobbler of the year. So keep on gobbling, gobble, gobble, gobble.
Well, let me ask you something, Jason, before you go. what do you think it is about some of these MAGA keyboard cowboy cowards that, and they mostly in the live chat, they mostly attack the women, I noticed. And what do you think it is about them that they can't just be like a grown man and talk man to man? I'm not going to yell at them. I'm not going to call them names. I'm not going to get nasty with them. I want them to call in and try to make an intelligent point, a lucid argument that we can all understand. Is that so hard?
Yes, it is. And I'll give you my example. Nick Fuentes, the boy puts down all women, but he's a virgin and never been with one. Dago and Myron James, the guy takes pictures naked with guys, but yet the girl that he would call his girlfriend, all he did was simp for, getting almost $1 million, and then she leaves him for roller skate Ron. So that's the reason, because these are the guys that when you were in high school or junior high school was the ones with the big pimples and the hands all greasy, and you would they would be in the back one of all those, the ones that walk around and nobody would talk to them because they look like they was from the trailer home.
Oh, you mean like they got small hands and stuff? Sausage fingers?
That was small hands, small feet. Small hands and small feet.
Well, I don't know what it is, because they certainly come off like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call. What day are you there? What day? What time are you there? Oh yeah, I'm gonna call. Definitely. You'll see. And then all of a sudden, the day and the time comes, and they got nothing to say.
Leonard. Don't you remember elementary school? I'll see you at 3 o'clock. And the guy that said he was on, I can't wait. I'll see you at 3 o'clock. I'll see you. You come out at 3 o'clock, he's gone. His mother picked him up.
Well, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and when somebody said they were going to meet you, they that's what I'm used to. They pretty much met you. We, very tough neighborhood, tough kids, and so this is kind of new for me. I'm wondering what they're so afraid of.
Well, I'm from Queens, so that's all we did. We used to look forward to 3 o'clock. But like I said, most of these guys that are keyboard tough, you tell them 3 o'clock, they call their mama or their daddy to pick them up. And so when you walk out, they're already gone by 2:45.
So you know where you're familiar with Ozone Park? OZ Rocks the House?
Of course. I used to hang out there. I used to know a guy named Nat Damiano.
Does OZ still rock the house?
No.
Not since the 80s, right?
No. Yeah, the big hair, and they all used to walk around going, "Rock rules, disco sucks." That's when they did it. And then when rock came, they all of a sudden their mouth was shut, because then they had nothing to say. But that was what their racist call was. They used to say, "Rock rules, disco sucks," because disco was like all, bubblegum music. It wasn't really, had no substance, so we couldn't say nothing. But once rap came, rock, and all those rock dudes shut their mouth.
Let me ask you something, Jason, my friend. Now we're looking forward toward 2026, and everybody's listening. So, what would you say is your greatest hope for 2026? What are you really hoping for? What are you looking forward to?
This is the simplest question of all. If we at PTL and everybody that that's in my age bracket, 50 and down, 60 and up, we need to touch every young person, because they are what the baby boomers were. They are the biggest generation right now. All, millennials, Gen Z, all. We got to let them know, because they're all so misinformed with this social media and all that, and they believe everything's on the media and believe everything Trump says, and that's why he won the election, because a lot of these young white male, young Hispanic male, and stupid young black men that were misinformed all voted for him. So if we don't touch the young, and touch the young big, we got to let them know the Republicans hate you. They don't love you. They just want to use you for your vote. And the minute your vote is gone, they're going to do everything to take away from you. So if we don't express to the young how important it is to not vote for Republicans until they get their act right, for the next 10 years, Republicans shouldn't even be in office until they prove that America is truly first, a multicultural nation, not just Christian white nation. We have to fight and say it's right for everybody to have a right, not just white men. Everybody has a right to vote. Every man has a right to pursuit of happiness, and every everyone has a right to have a decent living.
To
We're
due
tired of these
process.
super rich people. Come on, man. I'm tired of people that just getting shipped for no reason and they don't break no laws. A misdemeanor doesn't get you deported, and I don't know why it's all of a sudden okay. So I pray that we get these young people to wake up, because they're all in a coma. They're all doom scrolling and on the internet and on YouTube and all these other spots, but they're not listening to the right people. They're listening to these streamers and these YouTubers that all they are is misinformed. Like my man Brian said yesterday, that guy that couldn't get into the Ethiopian daycares, and all he cared about was
Nick
how
Shirley.
much streamers he got. Man, I tell you right now, he is lucky. He is so lucky. That's the guy. Hey, that's the guy that'll never debate you. That's the guy at 3:30. He would have called at 2:45 and had his mom pick you up. That's that guy right there. You want to know why he don't debate you? Because of that guy right there.
Yeah, that's the guy that stands across from you. Goes, oh yeah, if it wasn't after school, I would do this and I would do that. If it wasn't for this, I would do that. If they weren't holding me back, I would beat you up right now.
There you go.
That kid.
There you go. There you go.
You say, wait a minute, nobody's holding you back. You're just standing there.
All right. Hey, if the teacher wasn't here, I'd punch you in the face. Yeah, okay, whatever. I believe you. I really believe you.
All right, Jason, my friend, I really enjoyed talking to you. The PTL Nation loves you. I'm going to wish you a happy new year and be safe, brother, okay?
Hallelujah. Hey, you do me a favor. You just take care of your family, and you make and thank you for your service. I really do appreciate you. You're one of the most honest cops I ever ran across, because usually a lot of them don't be honest like you. So I am grateful that you serve our country in every way possible. Not only that, you're giving us knowledge of actually what cops can do and what cops can't do. And so I thank you for that information, because we need to pass that out too, because there's so many dumb people that don't know their rights. And if you don't know your right, then they can do anything to you.
Yeah, that's going to be big in 2026. And you be safe tonight. And we appreciate your passion and your words, and everybody really respects your position. So you have a happy New Year,
man.
friend.
God bless you. Take care.
Next we have John. John, this is Leonard. Happy New Year. What's on your mind, John?
Leonard, you were talking about what they're doing to the truck drivers.
Yeah.
Racist.
So, well, what happened was this guy David called in yesterday. I don't know if that was his real name. And he said he was happy that Trump made it so that if you can't read English and the signs on the road are in English, if you can't read it, then your CDL is suspended. And he was real happy about that. And so he was supposed to call in today to debate about it, but he left some facts out. And the facts are that we're down 60 to 80,000 truck drivers. So those Mexican drivers who can't really read English too well aren't taking anyone's job, number one. Number two, it wasn't about reading street signs, and it wasn't about speaking English. They have to read bills of lading, they have to read charts, and Trump signed an executive order, and I don't know if you know this or not, but Trump signed an executive order to make the restrictions more strict and to be enforced immediately. And it's immediate suspension. And you have to be able to have a conversation with the regulators in English. And if you can't have a conversation with them, you're immediately suspended. To me, the mostly Mexicans and Hispanics that couldn't read English were driving for years, and what it's going to end up doing is it's going to cost Americans more money, because the supply and demand is going to go down, because they're taking longer to get the products to the businesses. And I wanted to talk to this guy David, because I thought what he was saying sounded very racist. It's like he was saying, hey, they can't read English, get them out of the country. They can't read English, take their license away, take away their living. And I disagree with that.
Okay, so you're saying because they can't read or write or speak English, it's okay to break the federal law?
Well, they weren't breaking a federal law.
Yes, they are, because under the federal requirements to obtain a commercial driver's license, one of the top requirements is that you are able to read, write, and speak English.
Okay, that's putting the cart before. Let's back up a little bit. you have to take a test to get a CDL, do you not?
Yes.
Okay. So when they get tested for the CDL that they've already been granted, were they not tested on their ability to speak English and read English?
A lot of the truck driving schools nowadays are pushing them out the door, not even concerned about that. Plus, when I went to get mine, when I moved from New Mexico to Nevada, I watched a guy sit and translate the test from English to Spanish for a gentleman that was in there.
So you believe if they can't read English very well, and they've been driving for years, because some of them have been driving for years and years and years, and you're saying that they shouldn't be able to deliver because now the rules are, and you can look this up. I'm sure you didn't realize this, but Trump signed an executive order, and he made it more strict.
I'm not talking about an executive order.
That's what caused all this, John. That's what caused it.
I'm talking about what has been on the books for the last 40 or 50 years.
Okay, so that's how many different administrations? That's Biden, that's Trump, that's Obama, that's Clinton, that's Reagan. You see what I'm saying? So what happened was, and you may not know this, but Trump signed an executive order, and he made the rules more strict, and he also ordered what they call a zero tolerance. He said, zero tolerance, if they can't speak English, suspend their license immediately, and that's what they did. That's what happened.
Good. Because I've dealt with truck drivers that come into a warehouse. I'll give you a perfect example. The gravel business here in Las Vegas. These guys.
Oh, I hate those guys.
Well, that's what I do.
I know, but they dump gravel all over the highway. It's bouncing off all kinds of cars, and then they have a license plate on the back that doesn't come back to the trucking company. It comes back to the trailer, and you have to go around to the front, and they do damage to your vehicle. God, I hate those guys.
Well, I'm sorry, but I hate to tell you, but that's a lot of that is the Mexican outfits in this now.
So that's okay just to dump rocks on the highway all over people's nice cars and cut their paint. And, oh, well, it was my job anyway. I had to do it. It was my job, and I don't really care. I think it's terrible that you ruin other people's vehicles and chip their windshield.
Well, I agree. And our company, I work for a very large company.
Yeah, I know which company you're probably talking about, and they're a multi-million-dollar company. But going back to what we were talking about, I think that people that say, well, if they can't speak English, get them out of the country. If they can't read the street signs, get them out. I think it's very racist. I think it's white people saying, and it's racist.
I didn't say that.
Well, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, because I've talked to my friends. I have friends that are white who are very, kind of redneck friends. They're my friends, and they'll say it straight out. If you can't read English, get the hell out of the country. That's what they'll say. But that is racism.
Well, yeah, that is racist, but we're not only talking about the Hispanics that they went after. We're talking about the Muslims, the Somalians, one in Florida that killed 3 people.
Are you talking about in 2017? Yes, there was a bad accident in 2017, and the person couldn't read English, and that was 8 years ago. But I can name you 1,000 different accidents that I've been on where people got hurt who did speak English. So what I'm saying is, if they're willing to do a job that doesn't pay very well, that Americans don't want to do, because we're down 60 to 80. You can look it up. We're down 60 to 80,000 truckers, and they say 100,000 will be soon, and it should be 160,000 by the end of the year if the Trump administration doesn't do something about the problem. Are we out of time? Oh man,
I'll tell you what.
I got to cut you short. I'm sorry. We're going to have to leave it there, John. I'm out of time, unfortunately. Call back next time, and we'll talk about it. And have a happy New Year.
You gonna be on there Friday?
Brian will be here Friday, but I'm sure he'll be willing to talk to you.
Oh, all right.
So everyone have a happy New Year. I didn't realize that we were going past our time here. I was having such a good time with the phone calls. We love you all. Have a happy New Year. Stay safe. And Brian will be back on Friday. Hope to see you then. Have a good night.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches